So if you like Samsung, I think you'll really like this one. It's probably the best phone you can get from Samsung once it goes back into stores and online and all that. And it was an Apple Sheep's mildly good experience with an Android device. So if you're looking to switch from iOS to Android, I'll recommend that you get this one. Yeah, you know, I said a lot of things. Android's never come close to making me want to switch away from iOS, but the Samsung Galaxy Note 7, as I said before, was the phone I would go to if I wanted to switch to Android. And I recommended it to all of you if you had to use an Android phone. It was very good software, it had very good hardware around it. I didn't care much for the pen, I thought the speaker was in a bad place. But hey, Samsung has its own originality to it. That curved display that makes bezels get really thin, their quote-unquote wireless charging that still needs wire, but it's still really neat. The IP68 water resistance of the Note 7, so you could take it underwater, was really awesome. The camera it had is great. The Note 7 was also the first time Samsung switched to USB-C, and hey, it still has a headphone jack. It did a lot of great things. The problem is it did too many things. In fact, there was just one other thing, is that, you know, it exploded. It blew up in people's pockets, and I made jokes about it just like everyone did. How could I not? You know, it's such an easy target. But at the end of the day, I said in my review, once they do go back on sale, please check them out. Don't let the explosive stuff bother you. But unfortunately, now it has officially been discontinued. What happened was the replacement Note 7s had a little green battery icon, and that's how you knew you had a safe Note 7. So they were selling them all over again, thinking they had recalled at least most of the dangerous ones, and now the replacement ones started blowing up as well. So the thing that confuses me is, what did you change in the manufacturing process with the new Note 7, the safer one? Because I just read today that the Samsung engineers were not able to recreate an explosive Note 7 in the R&D department. So it's like, okay, you couldn't figure out what was causing the problem, so you just changed the icon battery to green, and if you didn't discover anything, you didn't change anything, you just started sending them out again. Maybe they just stopped manufacturers at one facility and said, you don't make them anymore, and they changed the facility. Of course, it didn't help because they were still exploding. It wasn't just one, it was several this time. And again, out of the millions of Note 7s shipped, only, you know, probably less than 100 were exploding. But of course, it renders the phone useless, it creates a nasty smoke around you, and that's not safe. People don't want those kinds of rumors. So if Samsung was a bit more greedy about it, they could have just said, it's a rare problem, if it blows up, send it back, we'll send you a new one. Everyone else just keep continuing to use it and hope for the best. But luckily, they care about their customers, which I admire them for, because a lot of people think Apple doesn't. That's a different video. But I applaud Samsung for taking the initiative to just say, you know what? We can't figure out what's wrong. We're sorry. Bring them all back. We'll give you your money back. And all of the major carriers in the US, and I believe around the world, are saying you can trade in your Note 7 and get any other phone for free. Obviously, Samsung is losing a lot of money over this bad PR, as well as having to replace everyone's phone, having to look into the explosive problem. But it's very wise of them to just flat out cancel this, because there's no way you could have recalled them all again and asked everyone to buy them a third time. Fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. That wouldn't have worked. And they took the right choice to just say, sorry, this isn't gonna work. Which is a real shame, because a lot of people were agreeing that the Note 7 was one of the best phones of the year. Some would even say the best phone of the year. And I can agree with you, if iPhones were not an option, the Note 7 would be at the top of my list. I liked that the display was curved, but not curved too much, because I've used an S7 Edge before, and I think the display is way too distorted there. But now I'm afraid if you're a Samsung fan, that's your only choice now. The real question is, are they going to make another Note phone next year? And even if it's a year from now, it's gonna be hard to shake that idea of them all exploding all over again. People are still going to make fun of Samsung for that for probably years. I'm not going to, though. I said my jokes. And in all honesty, that's not just Samsung being a crappy manufacturer. That kind of mistake can happen to any company. I'm very grateful it didn't happen to Apple, and they didn't have to cancel the whole iPhone 7 lineup. That would have been a real bummer for me. But that kind of thing can happen. I think sometime in the future, something like that will happen. And before you bring it up, yes, I know iPhone 7s have exploded too. It's just much more rare of an occurrence than it is for the Note 7. You know, phones of all different companies have exploded at some time. Any device with a lithium battery is potentially dangerous if put together in the wrong way. And the fact is, they have to slap all these things together, millions of devices, in a matter of months. And it's just likely that maybe 1 to 2 of those devices is not going to be perfectly assembled. So yeah, it'd be really easy for me to target Samsung and say, you were in such a rush to get ahead of the iPhone 7, you didn't make sure that your phones don't explode. That would have been immature of me to say, even as a biased Apple sheep, I think that would have been unfair, because like I said, that could happen to any company. In fact, it's a miracle we have this amount of success when a company has to make tens of millions of smartphones in a matter of months. Now, as I'm closing up here, I bet a common question among online users is this great news for the Google Pixel, given it's a new flagship phone this year, and it has a headphone jack, and the Note 7 is now off the table. It is no longer available, and if you bought one, everyone's saying you should send it back for safety reasons, and if you don't want to send it back, you're gonna have an exclusive phone for a while. Just hope it doesn't blow up. But for the people who do keep the Note 7, you're gonna have a rare phone. But does that mean good news for the Google Pixel phone? I do not think so. Although I said I don't really like the S7 Edge, you are getting a far better deal with the S7 Edge. I don't have the price points right in front of me, but I believe they're very similar in price, because the Google Pixel is not cheap. The S7 Edge, you get that headphone jack y'all love so much. You get that Quad HD display. You get a fingerprint reader that's on the front of the phone, unlike the Google Pixel, which has a wasted chin on the front that I guarantee the people who buy it are going to be accidentally pressing that chin, expecting there to be a home button. On the Galaxy S7, there is a physical home button, one that actually clicks, and it also has multitasking and back buttons on that chin. It actually used the chin of the phone and gave it a purpose. S7 Edge also has a great camera on both sides, just like the Pixel, but some things the Pixel doesn't have. Waterproofing, wireless charging, curved display that, again, I don't like, but other people do. And I'm sure it will be getting Android Nougat pretty soon if it hasn't already. And I'm sure a lot of the Google benefits to the Pixel phone will be slowly making their way over to every other Android device. And I'm sure the Samsung S7 Edge is one of the first phones in line to get all those updates. Plus, the Google Pixel is just ugly. So my condolences go to the Note 7. It's a real shame, and I'm sorry that it all happened, and I'm sorry if you bought a Note 7 that it is being discontinued. And if you want to hold on to it, good luck, be safe, and if you're worried about your safety, please check out Samsung.com, and they've issued a statement about it. You'll get a full refund, you won't lose any money, or you can bring it back to your carrier, and they'll give you a totally new phone for free. This is your Apple Sheep here, and I will see you in the next one.